Sadibo. Yes, Sadibo, I want to make Isaac Okra, so duty, Okayanka. Yama will bring no coso memoir. A hard yes, a film. One can say, send a more ibre, send a more ibre. Amanonia. A send a young and Noma, ne way, Omocrapo, send a treaty or more. Send a treaty young boy, son, a treaty and one man women. A young lady in perfume. Say, I saw a young wife film. Ubia complain a young qua Aden na yeti on memu na nkasa yedi ho boni sen on faso o sika kra obeyenti on dwen ochina ho on dwen de onya benya ochina ho na on dwen ochina no on nim za wo ba Aden hwe o de woni gi se wo yesen o woni gi nanso ochina no eni gi bi ne bebia one pe yesu nya ya se no yesen so yi ayi ko kraba ako kra nso a obesi de nya nso a ya sey nso nyina e twa ekoko nyina egu ye board ye twa nyina egu se galamsent ye se bibia o man we mu o ka na de se hu de
bonsa ntare no mo di wura mu no ba no ho su hihisa no inji mienu we nso so ba ko bonsu na ba ko so o twi load no so we ye fo mo bugu domfo boat mo bugu nso so mo nso no so nko an no mo ye adwuma to mo wo mu no we no sana insusu fon so de no etie eni nsu bia we de promise no eno de nsu bia we bonsa ne da no ma condemn no kra we wono no galam.
This is Enchi Asankrigwa Road. This road used to be one of the best roads in Ghana, well constructed by a Chinese company paid by the government of Ghana from the taxpayers' money. Unfortunately, Galamisayas, illegal gold miners, and sometimes even those with license, have mined underneath. And now we see this costly road, well-built road, caved in. Unfortunately, the paramount chief of the area of Enchi and Asankrigwa pass here every now and then. Ministers pass here every now and then. Our political leaders pass here every now and then. And nothing has been done. No arrest has been caused of those who are perpetrating this. This is our country. So what are we doing about this? And still, the miners are mining. They are continuing. We can look at the concrete walls that were put there as fenders or the fenders to block in case a car veered by side. Look at them. They have all been pulled down. They have all broken and fallen apart. Where I'm standing now is a cave. It looks like an earthquake, but excuse me, that is not an earthquake. There is no earth tremor here in this area. This is a tremor caused by Galamsey. And you can see over there where they have dug and come underneath. The ponds are there. They have dug and left them unfilled. Just behind the green, if you see some yellowish color there, these are all ponds left unfilled. And from that side, they have come underneath. Very soon, these people will be cut off. Very soon, there will be no road. And unfortunately, as I've said, people are passing here. The leaders of our countries are passing here. The leaders of our traditional area are passing here. And still, Galamsey illegal mining is going on. Oh, Ghana, what are we doing? Should this continue? Should we blame Chinese? Should we blame the foreigners? Or we should blame ourselves? This is what is happening to the modern trend of politicians in our country. Now the road is left with only one quarter. Here, this part is supposed to be the pedestrian path. This is the main road, so practically what is left of the road is just only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just 5 feet. Just 5 feet. So if any vehicle is coming, and here is also a curve. So any vehicle coming, there can be a head-on collision. This is very sad. I feel very, very disheartened. This is happening in our country, in our land. You can see the roads caved in. This is Ghana. Very sad, very pathetic. Nobody talks about it. Very sad. Very, very, very sad. Look at how this road has been filled. And for several years, these people were cut off. Now government, thanks be to God, have been able to finance this road, and this is what we have done to it. Just for a small piece of gold, which selfish people are taking away, they are paying out into the government, and yet, this is, we can see the depth of the feeling that was done. Oh, Ghana, this is sad. This is very sad. This is very sad. Whom are we to blame?
Statement is when you are talking about Galamsey, and what a political statement is not when you are talking about Galamsey. And as to videos and listen about Galamsey, the later we talk about it, the better. So let's move on. I gave an indication from the very beginning as to the businesses I've admitted. But the committee had met before my statement, and they had proposed that we do this business. We also took a suspension, and on resumption, I drew your attention to the fact that we had to look at some of the issues. And so please, what is on the business statement report is not what is going to be the business of the House for the 2 days. The clear indication was given by me as to the type of businesses I have admitted for this recall meeting of the House. And so we'll go on that. But I gave the opportunity because there was some variation because leaders drew my attention during the 10 minutes suspension as to the position of the caucuses on some of the items that I have admitted. And therefore, there was a plea, if in the absence of one of the items not being taken and there was space, we could present some business. And those businesses were all dealing with laying instruments. That is what I'm aware of. Laying some instruments and referring them to committees to handle during the recess. That's what I'm aware of. So we're not allowing any new businesses because we'll be setting a very bad precedent, as I stated in my early morning statement. It's very clear that we have to really interpret and implement or apply Article 112(3) cautiously. Please. So let's move on to do the business that we have earlier on agreed to do. And if there's space, there are some critical instruments that our attention was drawn to. But clearly, it's not even all what are admitted that are likely to be taken by the House. Yes, let me be fair to one of you
What is the difference between the ordinary thief and a political thief? Number one, the ordinary thief steals your money, your bag, your watch, and your jewelry, isn't it? But the political thief steals your future, your career, your education, your health, and your business. Number two, the hilarious part is that the ordinary thief will choose whom to rob. But you are the one who choose the political thief to rob you. Because we choose them. We vote them. We blindly say we are not blind. Who is deceiving who? The ridiculous part of the whole issue is that we will fight to defend and protect our belongings from the ordinary thief. Is it not? But we fight each other to defend and protect the political thief. Is that not what we do? Thugs will be fighting themselves to protect those that are stealing our career, stealing our joy, stealing our health, stealing our success. What a shame.
If you reach a certain stage in life and there is nobody who can look you in the eye and tell you the truth, you are doomed. And that is where our country has gotten to. We need to rescue this country. Wallahi. And I feel very terrible as a Ghanaian at this time. This country is in serious trouble, ladies and gentlemen. We are in serious trouble. We need to rescue this country, ladies and gentlemen. The presidency has been so depraved, so muddied, so dirtied, that I tell you in all sincerity as a Ghanaian, that I feel terribly sad today as a Ghanaian. We need to rescue this country. Wallahi, inshallah.
Please don't cry.
We shall rescue our country.
Government is broke, government is broke. But people are spending billions to go inside the government that is broke. Have you ever seen a minister who resigned because government is broke before? Government has no money. Have you ever seen a governor who said, ladies and gentlemen, when I was elected, I thought the government had money. Now I discover government has no money, I resign. Have you ever seen it? Government has no money, but they are bringing money out at election time. Where is that money coming from? So they are lying. What is happening is that there are two types of wicked people in government. Type 1, they eat current money. Any money they find in government, they will eat it. They are wicked about that one. There is type 2. Type 2, they eat current money and future money. They will say, my term will end next year. When I leave, how will I eat money? Let me borrow money now and borrow money of the future and eat it now. Government is
All right, a very good morning to you and you're welcome to the program. It's Good Morning Ghana and my name is Ania Fampofo. Let's go through the headlines of the newspapers and then later we will get into discussion. Let's start with the Daily Graphic and it says, Parliament recall drain on state coffers, Speaker asserts. CSOs Occupy Ghana demand enactment of COPO bill. NHIA releases 800 million Ghana cedis to healthcare providers. 487 arrested over suspected Ponzi scheme. Ghanaian Times. Outstanding releases to healthcare providers. NHIA set to pay 800 million Ghana cedis claims. Disburses 400 million Ghana cedis today. Demand your locked up funds. Mahama urges victims of DKM microfinance collapse. Dr. Baumia woos voters in 4 constituencies in Greater Accra region. Don't abuse provision of constitution. Speaker admonishes MPs as he recalls House. Daily Guide. Bobbing warns of Article 112 excessive use. NHIA releases 400 million Ghana cedis to facilities. O'Reilly students stabbed to death. Police grab 487 QNet fraudsters. DC exposes NDC MP lies. The New Crusading Guide. Eastern Regional Town Hall meeting, roads, economy, and Agenda 111 top government successes. NHIA releases 400 million Ghana cedis to facilities, more coming soon. Asase Broadcasting Company rebuffs unlawful property acquisition claim. Ploy to politicize judiciary. NDC backed Agbesi Jakpasu goals for GBA presidency. Hey. Bobby Banson writes to New Crusading Guide over Nana Ofori and Chibwe Siakon. And then the top right corner says, Telecel Ghana launches 7th edition of SME Month. The Inside, state looters in trouble as NDC vows to recover state lands, cathedral funds, others. You will have no choice but hand over Speaker Babing tells Agric Minister others. As Beijing prepares for landmark summit today, Chinese President Xi Jinping calls for enhanced China-Africa cooperation. Towards economic empowerment, NEIP supports 600 KIA with vocational tools. The Herald. Ethnic favoritism engulf Ghana's military promotions. Officers outrage over defense minister's tribesman. Nana Kwame Bediako unveils his 12 pillars for Ghana's economic growth. Ye announces phase 2 of skills training program. Asante Hine told not to be selective in Galamsey fight as MPP chairman Wontumi walks free. Sechidumase chief wades into $3.5 million Ajingano properties matter. Appeals to NAPO for justice and compensation for MPP financier. The Informer, alleged failure to prosecute Kufuor appointees. Stop the lies against Mills. NDC elder warns Spugabra. Otunfor on fire. Crusade against Galamsey as a Rocha Ghana raises red flag. Election 2024. Let's preserve Ghana's peace. Baumia urges. Come clear on free tertiary policy. Edu watch to Mahama. The Inquisitor. Rerun of MPP primaries. Wale delegates smiling, set to grab more goodies. That's a very interesting headline, huh? Oh, Cocoa Boards, financial woes, government intervention, and 4.71 billion Ghana cedis lost for BOG. So whom MPP is focused on alert, despite MP's decision to run as independent candidate. Book review. Ayabua shares his life story. FDA cautions public on adulterated palm oil containing hazardous Sudan 4 dye. This thing is still on the market, eh? The Sudan 4 dye. So FDA cautions public on adulterated palm oil containing hazardous Sudan 4 dye. But this headline, I want to capture it again. Rerun of MPP primaries. Wale delegates smiling, set to grab more goodies. All right, that's Daily Statesman. NDC seeks control of GBA. Eastern region showcases massive development under Kufuor government. Baumia's achievements surpass all previous VIPs. Asase debunks claims of unlawful property acquisition. The Daily Searchlight. Sinking the economy part 9 of Ghana Airport Company said to collect 33.8 million cedis debt. In spite of debt, MPP commits to more expenses. GTech engages leadership of tertiary institutions in quality tertiary practices, AI Made in Summer Edition. Climate change, Bloomberg Africa faces high burden and adaptation costs. Wenchi Sports Stadium, named after Nana Abrifa Kojon Ketia, the 7th. But Daily Searchlight, you have to check your printout. It makes very difficult reading. Ghanaian publisher Afenyo Markin warns against excessive partisan politics. NHIA releases 400 million Ghana cedis to healthcare providers. Minister Laws Akufo-Addo's exceptional education record in Eastern Region. NDC backs Agbesi Jakpasu for GBA president. Help us tell the SRG Rasiga success to Ghanaians. John Boadu. The Accra Times fallout from speakers' towns. Imported salt kills local production. Stakeholders petition government. So why are we importing salt? Like salt. Daily Post. Abuja unveils NDC glittering plans to upgrade Ghana's infrastructure from January 2025. Akatapori exposes EC and how they sold him to Bawumia. Akatapori. So that's him, eh? Okay, so his picture was on the front page. Voters register tampered with. We demand forensic audit minority. All right, that's what we have for you for the headlines. So let's take a break. When we come back, we'll come with the guests.
Pascal is showing his boss the efficient new technology they've installed. She's pleased. But now she's asking, why is that still there? Pascal explains the new fleet-finding darts are more accurate than the old ones. The boss is not so pleased anymore. If you haven't automated your fleet management yet, it's time to get business done better with MTN Business.
Anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath.
I'm a fair missy way.
Prepare your bantama.
Matias.
It's her smile, the fresh breath.
Me, Gidi said we used to Cal 360 toothpaste.
Some kind. Cal 360 toothpaste.
Let's hear Cal 360 toothpaste. It's a gum protector.
Cal 360 did the way. It's cool mint, gives me fresh breath, and your confidence booster.
You will see so feeling when you know Cal 360 toothpaste.
Happy smile.
Cal 360 toothpaste, anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath. Cal, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
In today's modern world, stairs are a challenge, especially for our elderly and those with health concerns. Navigating them can be difficult and even dangerous, but there's a safer way to move vertically. Lifts and Elevators Limited Company, your answer to a more accessible and secure vertical transportation. Our elevators and escalators, including top-of-the-line pneumatic vacuum elevators, Fuji elevators and escalators, offer a safer and more convenient alternative, eliminating the risks of stairs and enhancing accessibility for homes, businesses, and hospitals. Choose safety and convenience with Lifts and Elevators Limited Company. Elevate your spaces today. For more information, visit our website at www.elevatorsgh.org or call now on 0200-535-515. Lifts and Elevators Limited Company, the elevator people.
Customer, I don't know who say.
Malaria
baby na achimi o man no madra no man so still.
Ah, one of give us.
Give us so na dey.
Yeah, sorry. What rest so give us ya ntontom da ho.
What's over that song? But for me to give us the entontom da ho.
Give us e ba me sha.
Me pa try the entontom da ho.
Customer. Give us that tonton now. Pa.
Onuya kayo, oba wo fa furo nom. De o ma no bonu fo nom. Akwada wo ni fie dumie no ono nso nom.
Kachi, unemu ebua unkohwe Dr. Ba wo ye den wa.
Oh, me se yamfa no koma mi buru a.
Ayi, maami do buru. Ko ni atele be ko. Bra, mumi yamfa no ko Dr. Ba ho.
Dr. Ba no ya de.
Bra, se ba no mpemu adwuma, sasabro fro Dr. Ba wo ye.
Sai ni kemi kwa na meka. Oh, no mpemu nim di ono na ye expert nya azanfo no. O akra eni kumasi no mpemu expert yen kan kire wo.
Hello, my name is Roland Walker. I'm here at Coastal Park. It's one of the many courts belonging to Estate Masters and in the next cottage at Chopoli. It is just close to the yet to be demarcated airport that also will be a valuable property for you to invest in.
Now let me tell you why you should choose Safari Valley as your conference destination.
The new conference building combines modern amenities with the tranquility of nature, providing the perfect backdrop for your next seminar and corporate retreat.
The only conference destination with so many activities, you don't have to travel to visit your tennis club, the gym, or the stables. They have it all.
Enjoy this rooftop viewing deck, basking in the sunlight with the sight of wild animals roaming freely in their natural habitat.
At my break, I'm able to practice my putting.
It's a unique experience that sparks creativity and rejuvenates the mind.
Visit Safari Valley Eco Resort in Ghana, bringing you closer to nature.
Choose the perfect prize every week and stand to win your choice of exciting prizes. All to get more of what matters to you. Exclusive to Betway. Betway, get way more. Terms and conditions apply. Regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. No under 18.
You the answer to my prayer. You with me everywhere. You're my angel, miracle. You're all I need tonight. Give me shelter from the rain. You breathe life in me again. You're my angel, miracle. You're all I need to know tonight.
The luckiest.
Star 712 hash.
Luck is everywhere.
8K. Hey, you get an 8K. Get a packing from your man. Wallahi. Hey, wait.
You go put it on this time. This is my man.
Good luck.
Hey, we build radio. We are star 712. It's what you phone. I'm on dialing the magic numbers. Star 712. Now welcome to the luckiest. And now with me at home ticket. You can buy for yourself or your loved one.
Mommy, tell mommy who's here.
You're buying for me, right?
Or who else?
Oh.
Let me choose buy ticket for others.
Love you, boo boo.
Maybe straight to option 4. Now we try. You need to buy tickets worth 50 Ghana to qualify. Yes, you can buy random or preferred ticket. I'm choosing random ticket. That's it. Listen, if you buy the random ticket, the system chooses a random number for you. But if you buy the preferred, you get to input your own preferred 5 digits. 5.
Baby, give me your 5 numbers.
And how much are we buying?
Babe, look at the body and buy you.
With your body,
Hey,
never. Tread cautiously. Now follow the prompts and confirm. Now the luckiest
The Luckiest is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform, not for persons below 18 years. T&Cs apply.
Statement is when you are talking about Galamsey and what a political statement is not.
Of Article 1123, an extraordinary sitting of Parliament should just be observed as such, an extraordinary sitting. And Mr. Speaker,
I have with me Member of Parliament for Bole Bambo, Honorable Suleimana Yusuf is right here with me. I just want to find out from him what he makes of today's recall that is actually occurring here at the Dome and what his expectations are. So let me quickly engage you. Honorable, good afternoon to you. Are live on Metro TV. So you are here to partake in today's business. First of all, what is your expectation?
Let me say good afternoon to our cherished viewers. For me, this recall is unnecessary. If you ask me, I would say it's a waste of resources. We had enough time at the last meeting to have discussed some of these issues. But I strongly believe that the leadership of the minority side failed us. And so even when we were asking them to bring the businesses that matters for us to discuss, they were nowhere to be found. Only for us to go on recess and they are calling us back. It comes with some financial implications. Of course, when we come, they have to give us our T&T. I am aware that this place that we are using today, we are going to pay huge sums of money. And I'm also aware that even as we speak, we have what we call rising. At the last meeting, we should have been paid that money. As I speak to you, government has not been able to pay. I do know that our common fund and other statutory entitlements have not been paid. Interestingly, for the first time, you have government checks bouncing. A situation where government will issue a check to members of parliament, for instance, for let's say Get Fund or Common Fund, and then the check will bounce. That is where we have gotten to. Yet we don't want to be very moderate in our spending. We still want to waste the taxpayers' money. That is my concern. However, we are here and we are told that there are two loans that they want us to consider, 250 each. I think that where we have gotten to, there's no need for us to overburden the Ghanaians. There are tax exemptions, which tax exemptions have been with us for getting to 3 years now. Those tax exemptions were brought in around 2022. And as the ranking member for trade and industry, I'm privy to all what is happening there. When these tax exemptions were brought to us, the first information unofficially that I was told was that hold on to these things. Alan Chirmente is likely to benefit from them, so don't pass them. Wait until he resigns, then we bring them. Indeed, when he resigned, they now brought in the tax exemptions. And so today they are asking us to consider those tax exemptions. The question one we want to ask is, for instance, if somebody put in a tax exemption request in 2022, and today some of them have even established, if they were to bring in materials, equipment to be able to establish.
Of Article 1123, an extraordinary sitting of Parliament should just be observed as such, an extraordinary sitting. And Mr. Speaker, I want to remind the majority leader that we are not in ordinary times. We are all preparing for elections. Members of Parliament are in their constituencies attempting to secure and safeguard their return back to this august house. Therefore, when you call us for extraordinary sitting, let it be an extraordinary sitting. I've seen him make reference to bills. Bills, what's the agency of those bills? Whether it's social protection or it's environmental protection. But Mr. Speaker, I have one major issue. The Electoral Commission of Ghana and the chairperson of the Electoral Commission. There's been happenings in my Tamale South constituency of an easy transfer of voters from Tamale South to Pusiga. I pray that it's not on a wide scale or large scale as will affect many other constituencies. But Mr. Speaker, as we are speaking, maybe the committee responsible for the Electoral Commission or your good self may want to invite her. Mr. Speaker, the Electoral Commission has 75,000 biometric devices which will be used for purpose of conducting the presidential and parliamentary elections on December 7th. Mr. Speaker, those biometric devices, we have to subject it to some technical audit. One, to know the state of their batteries. Two, the state of their adapters. Three, the state of their readiness for elections on 7th December. And we require the chairperson of the Electoral Commission to come and notify this House how ready the biometric devices are, how ready are their batteries together with their adapters. My information is that they will need to recheck all the batteries because you don't want a situation where on election day 7th December we are told that you should transit to manual system. We want the system to work. The functionality, the efficacy of its batteries are important. I understand that they will need money to acquire more than 5,000. I mean, you cannot have devices of 75,000, and when you are acquiring batteries, you are talking of 5,000. It should be 25,000 or even half of it. So, Mr. Speaker, the committee responsible for the Electoral Commission will have to engage her, and we know what are the financial gaps of the commission, because we may not have opportunity again. So that, Mr. Speaker, your good self, subsequent to the lecture you held with your brilliant resource person on the future of our elections, we will know that the Electoral Commission of Ghana is ready and prepared for the December 7th election.
All right, a few things that happened on the floor of Parliament yesterday. Those who were not happy with the recall issues that came up, you heard some of the members also raising it. We'll talk more about it, but before that, I'll introduce the Honourable Member of Parliament for Tamale North Constituency, and he is also ranking member for Lands and Natural Resources, Alhassan Saibu Suhini, and he's here with us. You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Good morning to you.
Good morning to you. Good morning to
viewers.
Well, let me also welcome Erica Makuchum, who is also a member of the Dr. Bawumia campaign team, and also, how are you playing those double roles? Spokesperson for government and a member of the campaign team of the MIT.
There's no double role. I'm a member of the New Patriotic Party, and as we speak, we're on the cusp of winning a third term.
No, my question was, how are you playing the double roles?
I'm here.
Well, it's been an awesome journey with MTN, 15 years, ease of safety and convenience. So this is definitely worth celebrating. That's why the MTN Momo at 15 rewards here with amazing cash prizes and says thank you. So send Momo to an MTN Momo user or make payments to MTN Momo merchants at no cost whatsoever on MTN. So go on, download Momo app, store on Play Store and enjoy this. Just Momo, it's everywhere you go. Terms and conditions obviously apply. And Kel 360 Toothpaste is asking if you're desperate for getting a toothpaste that will take care of the family and save money. The recommended one for you is Kel 360 Toothpaste, approved by the Food and Drugs Authority. It provides your family with all-round dental protection throughout the day, freshness. With freshness, Kel 360 Toothpaste is also 360 Toothpaste is good for the kids, children and adults. And let your family be proud by using or constantly using the Kel 360 Toothpaste. It brightens your teeth and prevents cavity with cool mint. It gives you fresh breath throughout the day and protects the gum from decaying. Also, Kel 360 Toothpaste is a product from Samara Company Limited, and also it can be you can get them bulk delivery on 024-686-4798. Kel 360 Toothpaste, happy smile. Lifts and elevators also available, still on the market if you want to enjoy the fruits of your labor and the importance of your mansions. You want to use lift and elevators as they can come into your homes with the portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators installed just within 3 days, and you have it to use. A simple and self-supported elevator for both homes and offices, and it can lift your goods as well. Wheelchairs can be fitted in, and they come in 3 custom-made modules. It's affordable and can be installed just within 3 days. Lift and Elevators is at Sakumono. Call them on 0200-535-515 or email them to elevators@gmail.com for consultations and best solutions in easy vertical movement. Okay. So, Honorable Suhin, the issue that was raised on the floor of Parliament, I could tell that most of the members of the minority side were not happy about the recall, including the Speaker himself. And the Article 112 Clause 3 was what the reference point. So I'll just read that. It says that Clause 3 says, notwithstanding any other provision of this article, 15% of members of Parliament may request a meeting of Parliament, and the Speaker shall, within 7 days after the receipt of the request, summon Parliament. So it doesn't matter where these 15 members are coming from, whether minority side or majority side. Okay.
Well, Annie, let me say good morning to Eric and welcome him back to Accra, because I understand that he has been traversing the country in search of lost
votes
and never to be found again votes, inshallah. I just hope that he will take advantage of the tour to appreciate Ghana more, and also to appreciate how challenging or the challenging circumstances that many of our people still live in, and how it is important that when people are given
But he's one of the widely traveled politicians in Ghana.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not
almost every election year.
I'm not disputing that. I'm just saying I hope that he will take advantage of to appreciate Ghana more, even more, and then understand the challenges that our people have to deal with daily, and how and why we should not take, the responsibility of running the country lightly at all whenever we are given the opportunity. But on what happened in Parliament yesterday, and first of all, permit me to, on my behalf and on behalf of the minority caucus in general, and especially members of the Lands and Natural Resources Committee, to render an unqualified apology to 3 paramount chiefs from the Central Region who came to Parliament yesterday after they got an invitation from the chairman of the Lands and Natural Resources Committee to appear before it. I will also want to extend same apologies to all the stakeholders who also were invited to meet with the committee yesterday. My apology is because members of the minority were unable to attend this meeting, especially because we considered the business of the recall, very, very important. The government had given the impression that they had emergency business to attend to, and for which reason they were willing to, spend the much that they spent to get members of parliament to return to carry out that so-called emergency business that they wanted us to attend to. So we didn't think that it was appropriate at all for the chairman of the Lands and Natural Resources Committee to schedule the meeting on the same day, especially Annie. You know Parliament very well. And in yesterday's sitting and today's sitting is or are going to be, if you are today, conducted at an unusual venue because the chamber is undergoing renovation. So it is not like in the past where when you are at committee meetings, you have these corridors that lead to the chamber. So if there's any business of interest on the floor and you are at the committee, you can easily access the chamber and take part in the business on the floor. And so yesterday, because it was an extraordinary sitting and a sitting at an unusual place, one would have thought that upon proper consultation with members of the committee, a committee meeting of the nature that was, scheduled yesterday would not have been scheduled because we didn't know the nature of the sitting. We didn't know how the day was going to be. So it was very unreasonable for the chairman of the committee to schedule the meeting at the same time that we were called upon to do emergency or urgent business of government on the floor. And so the members of the minority unfortunately could not be part of that sitting. But it has to be put on record that what is happening with our mining leases today is a novelty. In the past, Parliament was called upon to ratify these leases, and after a couple of committee meetings, a report was generated and submitted on the floor and a decision taken. But this time around, due to the seriousness that we in the minority attach to the business of ratifying mining leases, we pushed at the committee level to have these leases advertised and to seek memorandum from the general public because, like the wise say, wisdom does not reside in the head of one person. And so the fact that we are given the opportunity to be members of parliament does not mean that we have all the knowledge to,
the repository of all wisdom.
To
but is that the procedure for mining leases?
I mean, we are masters of our own game.
Okay.
So with Parliament, we thought that we should involve the public more. We should involve civil society more. We should involve stakeholders more so that they can have that interaction with Parliament.
So you're trying to make the process more transparent.
More transparent.
More robust.
So it is the minority members of Parliament who have pushed for this, expansion of the process to accommodate the stakeholders' views. Okay. And so we advertised and the memos came. So I'm just putting this on record so that the impression that may be, erroneously created that the minority was not interested in yesterday's meeting will be set aside because we pushed for the advertisement of the, leases and the request of memos from the stakeholders.
This includes the lithium?
Yes, the lithium and the bauxite at Nyinahini. And so we have been looking forward to meeting with the stakeholders and discussing the memos that they have sent to us. But unfortunately, the manner in which the meeting was organized yesterday could not just allow us to attend that meeting. And that's why I'm starting with an apology, especially to the stakeholders and the paramount chiefs and the sub-chiefs who were invited to meet the committee. So what did they do? They had to return? Well, the majority members of the committee, I understand, had an interaction with them. I am yet to get the minutes of that meeting, and as a committee, we'll take a decision on that. But having said that, Annie, I am equally appalled by the outcome of yesterday's sitting. I mean, you remember how the speaker was taken to the cleaners by members of this government who are MPs after he, adjourned the House in a day the last time. It was as if he had some ill motives towards government's operations. And if you also recall, after the majority leader put in the request for the emergency recall to take place, it was as if certain decisions were not taken urgently and immediately, the country was going to ground to a halt. And so members of parliament had to be summoned from their various constituencies across the country, because this is a very crucial period of, our election. Yeah. We are only about 90 or so days away from the general elections. And so members of parliament are busy campaigning for re-election. They have to be summoned to come from far and near to, partake in what we all thought was going to be, urgent business. But we got to the floor, and from the morning till about 2-3 p.m.
nothing really had happened.
Nothing really urgent, nothing really pressing. I mean, it was about a World Bank loan facility to improve distribution at the power distribution, Gridco and others. And this was a matter that was already decided upon by the House before we adjourned. We had voted against it. And so they had to bring it back and then move a rescission motion. But honey, the ridiculous issue relating to this matter is that we sat down, and due to family squabbles, we lost millions of dollars. Alleged. Of the Millennium Challenge.
Allegedly.
It's not alleged. I mean, there are recordings of the fight.
Of which fight?
Oh, the PDS squabbles.
I haven't heard.
Yeah, well, maybe you can decide to not hear, but they are there.
I'm not deciding.
There was family squabbles.
Okay.
That led to all the PDS brouhaha.
Okay.
And because of that, the United States government decided to withdraw millions of dollars that would have been used to help, in the power distribution that we are now seeking, to get support from the World Bank for. Now, it's even a loan. Mm-hmm. And the last time, the amount that was allocated to consultancy alone was what was just considered unconscionable, and for which reason the House had to reject that facility. That was, I think, yesterday the most important issue that was raised and not even decided upon.
You're supposed to be there for 2 days, right?
Yeah, so today is the last day. Another issue that I saw on the other paper is this tax waivers.
Yeah.
What do we get from these tax waivers that we have been given? In fact, the notion today
the
is
tax
that
waivers, the reason I played the Honorable's video was that he made mention of tax waivers, the definition of those who qualify for tax waivers. And then he made an allegation that there are even some businesses captured who have already started operating. And if they've started operations, you can't come and say that you are giving them tax waivers. It means the caption should be different for that brackets of those brackets of business.
I mean, so those are some of the reasons why, as a minority, we have been opposed to these, recent requests for tax waivers. Let nobody go and tell these businesses that we are not business friendly as a party and that we are not interested in, helping them grow. The fact is that yes, we may be business friendly, but we are elected to represent the interest of the state. And so when we find reason to suspect that this is not intended to just support businesses, because why? We all live in their communities, we have friends with these companies and businesses, and the general notion out there today is that people are trading with these tax waivers.
Yeah.
People are taking cuts, under the table with these so-called tax waivers. They give the tax waiver with the right hand, which is through the right procedures, and receive it through the back door. And so it is important that we scrutinize it and come to a conclusion upon satisfaction that any waiver that is granted is actually intended to spur growth and bring about expansion that will create the needed jobs for our teeming unemployed youth, and not just to line, the pockets of powers that be. And so our opposition to these tax waivers are based on the law, who is qualified at what point, and also to check the waste that we have noticed is associated with these tax waivers. And so it is not personal, and it is not it is not extremely partisan. It is just logical, and it is patriotic. That is, the government of our
Parliament
issues.
I don't know. You are doing double. You are doing double standing. It's either you want to review the tax waivers law, or you want to give more tax waivers to companies. What exactly do you want to do?
It's not about Parliament. It's about government.
Is it?
It is about government. It is government that is.
You are making the laws. You are the ones.
But you see, I have said this repeatedly, that
the government business.
And I'm always. Some people misunderstand it when I say it, but if you take your time and watch the operations of our Parliament, and I'm talking about our Parliament, you see that it is largely structured to do government business. It is largely structured to do government business. It is just recently that we have allowed for the introduction of private members' bills. Apart from that, the only, private member business that we do in the chamber are restricted more to questions and statements and maybe investigations when we form a bipartisan committee to investigate a matter of private importance or public importance. Those are the things. But when it comes to passing laws, passing legislation that effect change, that bring about transformation, until recently it was always the business of government to bring these bills, to bring these motions, and to bring the papers that will be considered. So when you talk about tax waivers, it is when government says we want to repeal the tax waivers law that Parliament will now use its resources to help government to do it. Are you getting it? But Parliament on its own cannot initiate it. You can initiate a conversation through our oversight that can force government to adapt, the outcome of the agenda that we set.
Okay.
So that's why I'm saying that with that wavering, it is government that will come and tell you we don't want tax waivers, and then they will come again and say give these people to tax waivers, and you don't really know what they want to do. But as Parliament, we are very clear in our mind that we will operate with the law as it is currently composed, and then we will also ensure that in operating with the law, we will be guided by the interest of the state more.
I just hope that viewers will also be guided by the current situation of Parliament. We have a hung Parliament, but this is how it's operating now. So it's also very good that you pay attention to what's happening in Parliament and know how your voting pattern should go. If you want to give majority to a group, give a clear majority, whichever. But two things before I come to Eric. Did any member of the minority join the 15 people to recall Parliament?
No.
Do we have any one, not even one?
No.
Okay.
It was largely, driven by the majority leader.
Then 2, who decides what is the Constitution saying? The provision for 15% to request a meeting of Parliament, and within the 15 days after the receipt of the request, summon Parliament. Who decides what is actually very important that this recall should be done?
So the 15 members, the 15% of members.
So that is the importance. Yeah. Once it's 15.
Yeah, once it's 15%. Yes.
So the 15 determines what's important.
Yes.
To recall Parliament.
Yes. 15% of members, according to the Constitution, can write to the Speaker of Parliament to recall Parliament on any matter that they consider important. But you see, what happens afterwards is not with the 15 members of Parliament. So, Speaker can recall Parliament. And the majority of parliamentarians can now come and say that what you have called us to attend to is not important.
Like it's happening.
Like it's happening.
Okay.
Are you getting it? So it is not the 15% who will determine what is important.
Okay.
But they can use what they think is important to recall Parliament.
Is this good law?
But Parliament, I think so. I think it is, considering our democracy and the way it is going, it is very useful. I mean,
how much are we paying for
How
much are we paying for this?
I have no idea, but it is a very, very relevant question. Given what we may get out of this sitting, it will be very, very important for people to know how much it is costing us, so we can match the cost-benefit analysis and decide moving forward how to treat such recalls.
Okay.
Otherwise, it can be abused and it can lead to losses, needless losses to the state. In my view, given what transpired yesterday, I think that the recall was needless, and the expenditure associated with it is equally wasteful.
All right. Eric, I think your recall into the studio is useful.
Annie, thank you very much. Good morning to you, and good morning to my brother, Suhini. I've been seeing him for a while. We used to do some shadow boxing on many platforms. And it's interesting that he actually invited me to speak on my traversing across the country. And I have a few things to report to him. So whilst I was out there, I saw the Bolga to Boku Road. I saw the Tamale to Yendi Road. I saw the Tamale interchange. I saw the Mishio Bridge in Yagaba-Kubori, which in times past used to be called overseas, that if it's high tide, you basically are stuck over there because there's absolutely no road to go through that place. I saw that bridge. I also saw the Tamale International Airport. And then a zipline center in Bobsi. I'm sure he's very much aware of these places I mentioned. They're all in the 5 northern regions that we have. I saw Agenda 111 hospitals. I saw the 1 constituency, 1 ambulance working. I saw a lot of projects that have been undertaken by the Northern Development Authority, AstroTurfs, boreholes, all sorts of other projects whilst I'm there. So I'm happy to report to him that whilst I was out there, I saw all of these things. Of course, this is a country that is still developing, so you get to places where there are challenges, and these are challenges that our flag bearer is very much aware of, and he has put together a proposition and a vision that would be able to solve some of these challenges. So that is that. I find it very difficult to discuss Parliament because most times I would have to restrain myself. Otherwise, I can be hauled to the privileges committee. So I find it extremely difficult. I'm not too sure if it's my Sunday school Presbyterian upbringing, but I find it extremely difficult because there's a lot of inconsistencies in some of the behavior. For example, I think somewhere in 2019, the NDC minority were asking for a recall to discuss PDS and other matters and all of that. And they deemed it very important as a subject at that point to recall Parliament. And so they were going around gathering signatures to get to the 15%. And I mean, Anita, I have to commend you this morning because you've asked extremely salient questions. Now, I even read the Act, and the Act, they themselves, and they claim that Parliament is a creature of its own rules, isn't it? And that if 15% of members of Parliament deem that an issue is important, they would activate that particular provision so that they will call Parliament to discuss. Now, once you get to the floor and you go back to Parliament, that is where the debate happens. And then you get to the gravamen of the issues, and then you debate the issues, and you make those decisions, right? And so for me, I honestly don't understand how, I mean, over the period, since we've been doing this thing since 1992, there seems to be a lot of inconsistencies when the shoe is on the other foot. And for me, I think that is a bit confusing to the Ghanaian people. I think that the most important thing is to deal with the substance of the issues. Is it the case that these entities that are being given tax waivers are going to do things that are going to be beneficial to the state? And what are these entities? And what have we done in the past? Then that's where the hypocrisy also comes in. Now, you look at an opposition that, when they were in government, gave MPS, you know MPS? The Meridian Port Services, tax waivers that, I mean, almost amounted to about 55%, which is for every dollar that MPS were supposed to spend, right? They gave them a tax waiver of 55 cents. And so that's where the inconsistencies come in. And you ask a very salient question. Is it the case that we have to re-look at our tax waiver laws and as a country come to a conclusion that these are the set of criteria that is required to give entities to consider? You understand? And I'm all for it, right? And I have always been consistent when it comes to these things, that we can create a system where goods or products or services that we have a certain comparative advantage to do or produce in this country should be given a certain importance, so that we don't bring in these goods and products. But if it's something that it's difficult or we don't have those capacities, then by all means you want to bring in investors and give them some kind of incentive to be able to, one, come here, set up, and then also even do what they call transfer of knowledge and all that, so that you easing your local capacity or your local productivity over a period. So I'm more than happy for us to have these conversations. Immediately it becomes a political football. Then the tendency from our side and even their side is to now take entrenched or intransigent positions and say that, well, you did this in the past. We're also doing this at the moment. And then the arguments are lost.
Yeah, but that's where when I asked the question of the double standards, yeah, but that's either want to repeal the law or we want to give more. And his explanation, you know, is pointing to the fact that sometimes such repeal actually must emanate from the executive because it's the business of the government.
I appreciate that. And that is why I'm saying that whilst we are having this conversation, it looks like that sometimes when there are really, really important issues, it gets lost in the whole political conversation. As far as I'm concerned,
does the hypocrisy lies with Parliament or it lies with the government of the day?
No, it doesn't. I mean, I'm not here to apportion blame. All I'm saying is that.
No, but you are saying that you even like the idea.
I like the idea that we can look at
and considering where it has to come from.
But the point is that it doesn't necessarily. It's also erroneous on his part to even make it look like everything that comes from government is taken in by Parliament, hook, line, and sinker. And he will tell you that there are so many, and it didn't start with this government, there are so many things or bills that will go to Parliament. And by the time he actually leaves Parliament, it has changed by virtue of inputs, suggestions and recommendations that has come from Parliament itself. And some of these recommendations have come from the minority. It doesn't matter who is in government. You know, and what I don't like is to create this impression that, I mean, we haven't grown as a democracy and that there's no level of consensus at all, just for expediency purposes. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So for me, this whole idea of casting aspersions and creating this impression that there are some companies that are aligned to the ruling government and it's all of that. It's really neither here nor there. And that's when you actually introduce red herrings, right? Because then I, sitting here, would also put on my political hat and say, listen, these are the things that I'll give you a plethora of examples of tax waivers that have been given under your watch as a government, right? So if we are moving away from that conversation and saying that, okay, today we think that we have developed to a certain degree.
But why do you always want to go back?
No,
I'm not
going, I'm not, but that's what I'm saying, that I'm not going back.
To
but
equalize.
What is equalization? But what was he doing? What was he doing? He was apportioning blame and absolving himself as a member of parliament
of the government in power.
Nothing stops him. And he knows. He's a very articulate, very sharp young man. Right? Nothing stops him from drilling, right, and punching holes or whatever into whatever is brought to him. And he's
That's
done
exactly
that.
what he was doing. He was drilling and punching holes.
Yes, and that after all that processes have been done, right, then whatever has been brought to the House becomes good enough for us to proceed with. Do you understand what I'm saying? But I don't like the impression that we create that Parliament only agrees when it comes to things that are of benefit. That's what I'm saying. That I'm going on a tangent that I might get into trouble. Right? You understand what I'm saying? I don't want to go there.
It's not true.
Right? You understand what I'm saying? Because some of these things go through even their own committee scrutiny. They scrutinize this, they go through a process, there's consensus, they agree. And then when it comes to the political discourse, all of a sudden, these friends that we have absorb themselves from...
They become enemies.
They become enemies. Right? And that is, as far as I'm concerned, it's actually not very good. Right?
Okay.
Because then what you're doing is that you're creating a certain impression and it cannot be seen as being sincere.
Okay.
There's a lack of sincerity on their part. And I'll say it categorically that I have absolutely no challenge with Parliament as a body by scrutinizing the entities that are being given these tax waivers, right, and making a determination that it's fit for purpose, whatever it is that they are bringing makes sense and all of that. Then we can all interrogate and debate.
But did we have to recall Parliament because of that?
But they have an act. They have something that governs them.
I understand.
Do you understand what I'm saying? There's something that governs them.
I appreciate that.
Do you understand what I'm saying? And so for me...
I'm just saying that for a benefit of a company that I'm going to give tax waivers to, I had to recall the whole of Parliament knowing the times that we're in.
No, but the point is that if this 15%, right, so that's what I'm saying, that I'm trying to, restrain myself. This 15% of members of Parliament have a certain conviction that it makes sense that these entities are able to enjoy these tax waivers at this point in time. It might be for some exigency issues, or they might go into some challenges. I don't know that. You understand? That is your view.
We're in a campaign season.
No, but we're in a campaign season, but that's fine. But they're also campaigning. Okay. Right? So whilst you're looking at it from that political lens, then it's almost inviting me to also look at it from that perspective, right? That there's some insincerity going on. Let's, for me, focus as a country. These entities, as far as I'm concerned, are here. If they are legitimately incorporated in this country and they are able to prove that well and truly these are things that are going to benefit us, by all means, let's go ahead and do it. If we as a people, and these are our members of Parliament, are representatives of the people, also deem it fit that we need to reconstitute, re-engineer, and look at how we give out these tax waivers, I would not be against it.
Okay. We'll take a break, but before that, something happened in Parliament yesterday where the ranking member for the Lands and Natural Resources Committee had a presser about the issue we've all been shouting about. Well, Ghana sitting on a time bomb. We'll play that. Before that, Eric, let me ask you this question. Since you're a marketing person, I just want to pick your mind. Why are we importing salt?
So, for me, I think that this question is also very important. And sometimes we also have to maybe educate ourselves. You have products. You're asking questions about salt. We have products in this country that we export. and we import. The same thing, you understand? And it's based on, if you like, demand and supply, and the whole, yes, and that's what I'm saying. For me, I feel that I've seen documents that have even gone all the way to cabinet level in terms of developing our salt industry. And entities that have even tried to locally get into the space have had major challenges. And some of these challenges, you know, sometimes you have to be, the government is there to facilitate and ensure that businesses operate in a certain environment to thrive and everything. But we also have peculiar challenges as a people that I've seen companies, I don't want to mention it and I don't want to get into trouble, where entities have invested money, want to go into a space where they'll be able to now engender a certain local economy and produce a skill at a certain skill that will be of benefit to everybody. And the people there have resisted. You understand?
Why do I feel like I know which one?
No, but that's what I'm saying. I've seen cabinet memos, salt. Like, for example, even when you're looking at our oil industry, it's a huge component, something that we would even have an opportunity to use for refining our crude and even export it across the South. Like Nigeria. Do you know where Nigeria imports its salt from? Brazil. Right? Nigeria imports salt to refine its crude from Brazil. Just look at the distance between Lagos and Brazil and Accra and Lagos.
I mean,
you understand what I'm saying? And so
that's what I'm saying. Multinational companies that export salt into companies that are using them for industrial purposes.
Yeah, so there are entities here locally who also produce and export. You know, and some of these things are a function of demand and supply. As far as I'm concerned, we need to go back to, I'm sure when I find that memo, I'll send it to you. We've done cabinet memos across the two major political parties anytime we're in government, right? It all boils down to execution and some kind of commitment from even the local people. Okay. Then you have, it's the same challenge we have with even large-scale agricultural production where you have land tenure issues. And so a group of people or chiefs or people or whatever says that this land belongs to us. And you know what I'm saying? So for salt, if you don't really address the land tenure conversation, you'll struggle, right? But that is something that we have in abundance. We can actually have for local consumption, for export, and even for commercial purposes like we've said. And I'm saying that the reason why I'm quite passionate about it is that I have seen two, if I'm not exaggerating, two cabinet memos when it comes to scaling up, when it comes to our salt industry, which we haven't been able to do. And some of the challenges is not as a result of commitment from government, it's also it's because there are issues that needs to be resolved at the local level. And you need to find a system where, of course, there are artisanal salt miners, people who would go and have some shovel and whatever and do that, right? To be able to have a two-pronged approach that would also support these artisanal, small-scale miners and basically marry that with like large-scale salt mining so that we'll be able to gain the benefits from it.
So the problem, you wanted to say something about it?
Well, I just think that I agree to some extent with Eric, and I'm also sad that as a country we have not been able to find an appropriate answer to the question you asked. Why are we, not taking advantage of that industry that we have competitive advantage over, and we also have a ready market that is also near us, because it is a key, component of oil production. And given the volumes of oil that Nigeria produces, you can imagine the advantage we stand to gain if we develop that industry. In fact, the experts put the estimates to about 2.2 million tons. We have the capacity to produce 2.2 million tons of salt, annually. But we are currently doing below 400 tons or so. And it's also because we have not really paid attention to it. Of late, I've been...
I'm trying, like Eric, I'm trying to avoid going into certain
I know. And see, I've been forced to do a lot of reading on it lately because of the Speaker's referral of the mining lease that was granted to what's the name of the company? I don't want to use the name of the owner. Electrochem, you know, Electrochem. Yeah, I mean that's why I don't want to use the name of the owner of the company, because the company is a separate entity, you know, and I want to be fair on that. So Electrochem, you know, the leases were granted to Electrochem and ratified by Parliament, but because of the agitations in the community, Parliament saw the need. Yeah, Parliament saw the need. It's about 400,000 tons now, but I'm saying Ghana has the capacity to do 2.2 million tons. That's what the experts say, and Parliament saw the need to revisit that issue, and so it was sent to the committee that I'm now ranking of to look at it. In fact, it was a joint committee because at the time we were in a transition from the old committees to the new committees. You know, we have not yet concluded, you know, our report. There was an attempt to submit a flawed report, which was resisted by members on the day. Unfortunately, I wasn't on the floor. My opposition would have even been stronger, you know, but fortunately, Speaker in his own wisdom decided to listen to the debate and to hold the decision and didn't put a question as to whether or not the report should be adopted by the House. But I think that report that was produced will not solve the problem and help us to actually get the full benefits of that industry. It is a sleeping, you know, giant. And if we have to wake it up, we need to ensure that we engage all stakeholders, all parties, and put them on the same, you know, wavelength to operate in a way that the state will benefit from it. But if we ignore some of the threats, we may just end up destroying that industry even further. So I agree with you. I think that we shouldn't be importing salt. We should be exporting much more than we are exporting now. And it will all take the right leadership, I believe, to do the right things to enable us to take advantage of that industry.
So what are the advantages Ghana have? We have advantage in the agriculture industry. We have the advantages in the mining industry. We have the advantages even in the communication field industry. We have advantages in oil industry. What don't we have? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We have advantages. Okay, fishing actually falls under the agriculture industry.
Just a quick one.
The poultry industry, it's still agriculture. But still, I mean, there's a lot, right? We're so rich, but yet so poor.
Just a quick one. You see, so there, and I think that Honorable Suhuyini will agree with me. We are signatories to international trade treaties. And sometimes I think that I've even had experts sort of speak very simplistically about, oh, you are importing this and you're supposed to produce locally and you stop the importation of all of those things and all that. And in the same breath would say that we should produce more to export. You understand what I'm saying? And for me, I think that that argument is actually disingenuous. It doesn't speak to the facts in terms of the technicalities of it.
So what do you think? What do you think you will lose?
You won't lose anything.
Without signing on to those treaties.
Let me finish, because you're a country of 33 million people. Let me finish. Let me make my point, right? You're a country of 33 million people. You definitely have a capacity to produce certain things at a competitive and comparative advantage. Other countries also have that. And what you do in a liberal economic context is that you focus on scaling up on the sectors that you have those comparative advantages. And then you have maybe a certain minimum or optimum production of things that you would need in terms of hard times, like we're going through challenges with COVID and all of those things, so that you allow the liberal economic markets to play. Right. So, for example, Ghana, our biggest export to the sub-region, guess what? It's plastics, plastic products, chairs, tables, this, that, across to Burkina Faso, what do you call it, Niger, Mali, and across the landlord countries surrounding us. That's our biggest export to the sub-region. We export farm produce across the sub-region when these things are in season and import it when it's out of season. It is happening. In my constituency, for example, we export tomatoes to Togo and Benin. And then when it's out of season, we import. You understand? So we have to look at it from a more technical standpoint. And
what I know.
And let me
at least
land,
what I know.
Then you can come in. So, and find products like the salt, like we all agree on, that this is like a no-brainer. It's something that we can scale up to commercial purposes for local consumption and for commercial purposes to even export as well. So that's what you focus on. So that because of this whole conversation around economies of scale, I mean, a country like China, by dint of the population and large-scale production, will be able to produce things cheaper than you would be able to produce locally. And so that makes it easier for people who have money to decide that instead of going through a whole production process, let me import from China. That is where even this conversation around tax waivers and all of that come into play, right? So that it becomes an incentive for people to, produce locally.
It's what China has. It's what I was going to say, that
at a cost that
I think that as Ghana, China is not wiser than Ghana. I think.
No, but
that is where I was actually going to when you stopped.
So it's international trade.
And what China has done for you to continuously go there and import is what I expect that Ghana should be able to do.
I agree, but
I cannot hide behind international treaties and fail like this.
All right, this is not a.
No. let me. So let's go to Parliament and listen to Honourable Sohini at the presser, and then we'll take a breather. When we come back, Galamsey.
The natural resources glorifies the granting of the land to one Theophilus Kofi Layton and celebrating him as the owner of the land who granted a 50-year sublease to the Bulgarian embassy. The minister's own records show that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs declared the sublease null and void, and his government's own appointed sole enquirer into the matter concluded that the said Theophilus Layton fraudulently obtained ownership of the land. Now, despite these bold findings against the private individual, Layton, our minister sees nothing wrong with using his position to push a different narrative against the interests of the state. Isn't it equally curious that the minister gives the assurance that the state will not pay the compensation of the over 5.3 million Ghana cedis for the Bulgarian embassy demolished by one mysterious John Hagan? Meanwhile, no one, not even the government's sole enquirer, knows the whereabouts of the said Jojo Hagan, who is said to have undertaken the demolition exercise, and no significant efforts are made to even find him. Has a valid certificate of allocation dated 2nd October 1952 to the Department of Parks and Gardens, unquote. Yet our Minister of Lands and Natural Resources on this too is pushing the private interest narrative. These dubious allocations of state lands to private individuals, the government has since forced a retreat and announced that the Northern Regional Lands Commission has been directed to reverse a number of leases over public lands granted to private developers without the prior approval of the President of the Republic. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it will be most irresponsible on the part of the Minister and the President if the officials involved in the criminal allocation of the said leases of government land without the prior approval of neither the President or the Minister are not sanctioned. We therefore demand the swift dismissal and criminal investigation of the officials involved in allocating the said leases without the approval of the President. We also request the Minister in the interest of transparency and good governance, to publish the full report of the 3-member committee the ministry set up to investigate the transfer of the public lands in the northern region.
Pascal is showing his boss the efficient new technology they've installed. She's pleased. But now she's asking, why is that still there? Pascal explains the new fleet-finding darts are more accurate than the old ones. The boss is not so pleased anymore. If you haven't automated your fleet management yet, it's time to get business done better with MTN Business.
Experience the enhanced protection of Star Motor Third Party Extra from Star Assurance, an enhanced motor third-party insurance policy that provides cover for loss or damage to your vehicle's windscreens, side mirrors, back glass, and other glass components. Whether it's a crack or major damage, you can drive with the assurance that your vehicle is well protected. Our commitment to you includes affordable coverage options and a claims process that is both fast and straightforward, so you spend less time dealing with paperwork and more time on the road. Also, we have proudly partnered with Hope for Little Lives, an organization dedicated to supporting children in need. By choosing Star Motor Third Party Extra, you're protecting your vehicle and making a positive impact. Every policy you buy helps bring joy and support to children in underserved communities. Reach out to us now on our toll-free numbers 0800-177-177 or 0302-245-906 to sign up. Let us help you drive with peace of mind and purpose. Star Motor Third Party Extra. Drive with confidence, give back with heart.
Star Assurance, your solid partner.
Choose the perfect prize for you every week and stand to win your choice of exciting prizes, all to get more of what matters to you. Exclusive to Betway. Betway, get way more. Terms and conditions apply. Regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. No under 18.
Using Koa Mixture, Koa Plus Mixture, and Koa MT Mixture, brought to you by Koa Research and Manufacturing Limited Company, proudly made in Ghana. Formulated to support your general well-being. For those seeking immune system support, there is Koa Plus Mixture. Support your body's defenses and stay strong. When it comes to combating malaria, Koa MT Mixture will aid your treatments. For effective relief from malaria symptoms, try Koa MT Mixture. Koa Mixture, Koa Plus Mixture, and Koa MT Mixture are not recommended for pregnant women, lactating mothers, and children under 12 years. Always take a malaria test before using Koa MT Mixture. Choose Koa Mixture, Koa Plus Mixture, and Koa MT Mixture for your health needs. Available now at pharmacies nationwide. For bulk purchases, contact 0244-726611 or 0591-565-778. This advert is
Anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath.
I'm a missy way.
Prepare bantama.
Matias. Her smile, the fresh breath.
Me Gidi say we use Cal 360 toothpaste. Some kind.
Cal 360 toothpaste.
That's Kia. Cal 360 toothpaste. It's a gum protector.
Onim jom kasa. Ile kosen. Cal 360 did the way. It's cool mint. Gives me fresh breath and your confidence booster.
You will see so feeling kika when you know Cal 360 toothpaste.
Happy.
Cal 360 toothpaste, anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath. Cal, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
In today's modern world,
Stairs are a challenge, especially for our elderly and those with health concerns. Navigating them can be difficult and even dangerous, but there's a safer way to move vertically. Lifts and Elevators Limited Company, your answer to a more accessible and secure vertical transportation. Our elevators and escalators, including top-of-the-line pneumatic vacuum elevators, Fuji elevators and escalators, offer a safer and more convenient alternative, eliminating the risks of stairs and enhancing accessibility for homes, businesses, and hospitals. Choose safety and convenience with Lifts and Elevators Limited Company. Elevate your spaces today. For more information, visit our website at www.elevatorsgh.org or call now on 0200-535-515. Lifts and Elevators Limited Company, the elevator people.
Are you looking to own a prime piece of litigation-free land where you can put up your dream family home or your ideal getaway retreat within a luxurious estate? Then look no further. Welcome to Rehoboth Hills, where your dream of hassle-free land ownership comes to life. Acquire land devoid of multiple purchases, litigation, and land guard issues in a safe and secure gated community while enjoying the fabulous night view of Accra from the serene Ebri Mountains. Rehoboth Hills offers spacious plots that provide you with the ideal setting for your dream home and a valuable, safe investment for your future. The lands are located in the prime area of Ayarifa within our residential development Rehoboth Hills, overlooking the city of Accra and the Ebri Mountains. Our prices are very affordable and designed to fit your budget. We offer flexible payment terms, ensuring that you can invest in a valuable asset for the future. Contact us on 0244 764 499 or 0204-950-810 or visit our website at www.rehobothpropertiesgh.com. Rehoboth Properties, quality housing for all.
The luckiest.
Star 712 hash.
Luck is everywhere. 8K. Hey, you get an 8K. Get back packing so you have to one lie. Hey, wait.
You go put it on his tab. This is my man. Good luck.
Hey, Bill Radio. We are star 712. It's much phone. I'm on dialing the magic numbers. Star 712. Now welcome to the luckiest. And I'm with me at home ticket. You can buy for yourself or your loved one.
Mommy, tell mommy who's here.
You're buying for me, right?
Or who else?
Oh.
Let's choose buy tickets for others.
Love you, boo boo.
Maybe straight to option 4. Now, you need to buy tickets worth 50 Ghana to qualify. Yes, you can buy random or preferred tickets. I'm choosing random tickets. Listen, if you buy the random ticket, the system chooses a random number for you. But if you buy the preferred, you get to input your own preferred 5 digits. 5.
Baby, give me your 5 numbers.
And how much are we buying?
Babe, look at the body and buy you.
With your body,
Hey,
there, tread cautiously. Now follow the prompts and confirm. Now the luckiest.
The luckiest is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform, not for persons below 18 years. T&Cs apply.
All right, you're welcome back to Good Morning Ghana. Let me just remind you that with Betway, you are guaranteed of getting more chances to play. So Betway, pick your prices, let you choose your preferred promotion and make perfect sports bet every week. So from pay out boots, you can cash out or you can cash back. Plus, you also stand a chance to choose your own price, from vouchers to electronics and grand prize of airline tickets. Visit betway.com.gh to find out more. Terms and conditions apply and is regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Best way, play responsibly and get way more. Blue Jeans Energy Drink is also reminding you of being on the market for 20 good years. And I hear the politicians are using Blue Jeans a lot. We already know what it does for the body. It contains the vitamins, nutrients like vitamin B2, B3, B6, B12, and taurine and guarana, which are known to boost your strength and energy as well as promote high performance and endurance. Blue Jeans Energy Drinks is tested and tried, and it's indeed best on the market. Please contact them on budget, cash and carry on 0208-128-190 or 055001-0000. Blue Jeans Energy Drink is for the bold men and active women as well. So grab a can and power your day. Honorable Sohini. Right. Well, I think the issue of Galamsey comes and goes. Yesterday, you commented on land's tenure system and then issues of Galamsey.
In fact, our press conference yesterday was a long one. It addressed a number of issues, and specifically, it was speaking to a press conference or a Meet the Press that was organized by the Lands and Natural Resources Minister a couple of weeks ago at the Ministry of Information, where he sought to, in his words, set some records straight. Unfortunately, he ended up creating more confusion. And I must thank our colleague, Honorable Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, for that swift response, which I took part in with him, especially in relation to some of the specific issues that he has been championing. The Bulgarian embassy land saga, the Parks and Garden in the Upper West and here at cantonments, and then the frames and the judiciary lands. We adequately dealt with them, but we just thought that yesterday at the press conference there was a need to highlight some of those issues. But more importantly, the minister during his press conference made a confession that, in my view, was critical and had to be highlighted.
In your view, what's a confession?
It was a confession.
Okay.
And I call it a confession because over the years, over the months, we have been talking about how lands are looted across the country, not only in Accra. That has been the general theme associated with, the minister's tenure. Looting of lands all over the country. And so for the minister to address the press...
You know what I just remembered? Someone promised me land. When I told my family is actually go for it.
Be careful. Anyway, that's by the way. But you see, Annie, this is important. The minister at his presser admitted that they in government formed a 3-member committee to investigate some of the allegations that we have been making, especially in the northern region. And that the 3-member committee came out with a report attesting to the fact that indeed some government lands had been allocated illegally. So it is true when we say that there's land looting going on. That's why I'm saying that it's a confession from the minister now that there's looting going on, but he says it's illegal.
Which they set up a committee to investigate.
And that they set up a committee, and the committee has come out to show that indeed there has been some looting, but that those allocations did not have the approval of the president. And so they have directed the Lands Commission in Northern Region to reverse all the leases that have been issued. So yesterday at the press conference, we made the request, and I think it is a legitimate request to make, that the minister responsible for lands and natural resources should make available to all of us the affected lands that have been wrongly allocated or illegally allocated leases. And is that not a fair demand? So that all of us can watch
once
what happens to those lands.
Report,
once there's a report,
it means that you should
says
have
that
the list.
some leases have been allocated without the president's approval. Let us know those leases so we can all help in monitoring this illegal attempt to annex these lands. It is only fair that the minister makes those, lands available to all of us. So we have demanded that we be given the list of public lands in northern region that have been wrongly allocated without the permission of the president and the minister. We need to know so that we can help as the public and as stakeholders to protect those lands. Because people may be holding leases and they won't even know that they are holding wrong leases.
Yes.
And they can go and start developing. But if it is published and they find out that the lease they are holding is the wrong one, it did not have approval, maybe they will seek the remedial measures that they have to seek. They may go back to the officers involved to demand their money. That's the first request that we are making of the minister. The second demand is that those officers who were involved at the minister's press conference, he did not tell us what is going to happen to those officers.
Those who did the
illegal allocations. He's just saying that they have directed that those leases be reversed. But that is an illegality. Our constitution confers these lands.
Still on that, on illegality, It takes my mind to the Galamsey activities.
Yeah.
So we're told that there are some chiefs who were involved, and the Otumfo actually removed them from their positions as chiefs. And I was saying that if what they did indeed was an illegality, what you do is hand them over to the police. And I think it's the same thing that
So we'll get to the Galamsey, but this land matter, especially the confession of the minister, deserve proper explanation and highlighting so that we can get at least closure to it. It is a win for all those who have been calling on government to handle the land, the public lands especially, with care, and to do so with uprightness. So we must milk it and exploit it to use it as an example of how we can help government to be responsible in the use and allocation of these public lands. So the minister must give us the list. We also think that the officers involved must be investigated and penalized. You cannot, in the name of the president without his approval, be allocating leases to unsuspecting, if you like, private developers. Because a private developer may have engaged these officers with the assumption and belief that they were doing so with the authority of the president or the minister. Here's the case. The minister is telling us that those leases that we don't know yet, were illegally allocated and must be reversed. So that illegal conduct must not go unpunished. If for anything at all, investigations must be opened into the circumstances that led to the officers behaving in the way that they behaved, knowing or not knowing that they did not have the authority of the president. We need to establish that, and if possible, sanction the officers that are involved. So it was important that we make this demand. And I am going to go further to file an urgent question so that the minister can produce the report of the 3-member committee that the government set up.
Who are the members on the committee?
It is important that we get the report and we'll find out the names of the people members who were, who constituted that committee. But it is important that we get the full report of the 3-member committee. If the minister's conclusion is that the committee, uncovered that some leases of public lands were granted illegally, it is important that we get the full report. I'm going to file an urgent question. But in the meantime, I think that the minister should be able to let us all know which public lands in the northern region, were affected by this illegal transaction, and must sanction the officers as well. And we also talked about the Galamsey issue. And you see, it's not just the pollution of our water bodies or the devastation that we see in our forest reserves. It is also the existential threat that it poses to all of us and the ecosystem in general. Look, we yesterday at the press conference also thought that all that has to be said on this matter have been said by everybody concerned. The fact that about 60% of our water bodies are polluted as a result of this illegal activity. The fact that about 50% of water processed by Ghana Water Company today, get discarded because of the salinity levels and because of the fact that, the cost of even processing water has also astronomically gone up. We have said all of this, and the threat that we face, the threat of possible importation of water for use in this country, we have said all of that. All the experts have spoken about the dangers that we face. The impunity is something we live with. Our railway lines are not spared by this illegal conduct today. Our highways, in fact, recently the Konongo Kumasi highway, we saw the videos and the ridiculous explanation from the MC that people got permission to go and do desilting or something, only for them to later on realize that they were actually engaged in mining very close to the highway, threatening the integrity of that road. And look at our water bodies today. I mean, everybody has said what has to be said and done what has to be done. I recall the media campaign that was waged and the time and the resources that the media committed to this. Now it has gotten to a time, Annie, as members of the Lands and Natural Resources Committee, we think that the President, His Excellency, must address the nation on the state of our environment. If COVID was that important for us to have a fellow Ghanaians address, I do not think that the threat that we face from this canker is less than the threat that COVID posed at the time.
I agree with you.
It may not be as immediate as COVID was, but if you look at the threats to water, to our railway lines, to our highways, to even our very existence, it has become necessary that the President commits time to address the nation on the state of our environment alone. And so, at the press conference yesterday, we made that passionate appeal, and we hope that well-meaning Ghanaians, civil society organizations, and stakeholders will help us demand that from our President. We all know that he's lame duck. We all know that he's in his dying, ages of his presidency. We know that he checked out long ago and told us a new leader will have to come and solve our problems.
You can't confirm that.
He said that. He checked out.
But he still.
But he wouldn't have told us that it's a new leader that will come and change our problems. We know he checked out. But the fact is that he remains the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces. He remains the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces and remains the president of the Republic of Ghana. And so, with all the opportunities available to him, we will disregard the fact that he checked out long ago and still hold him responsible and demand that at least he gives us a statement on the state of our environment. Because even as we talk about possible food crisis this year, you cannot rule out the impact of this illegal galamsey that is, done with impunity. We talk about the crisis with Cocoa Board and our finances, and you cannot rule out the impact of this galamsey and the impunity with which it is done. And so every sphere of life is affected by the destruction that we see with our environment. And that is why it is important that the president addresses the nation and at least give us some direction, give us some clarity, and help us all identify what else we can do and how else we can contribute to ameliorate the situation. In the meantime also, we think that some heads must roll. I mean, for example, how is it possible that the MCE in what's the name of the district where Konongo is still at post? How on earth?
The one who said we should.
How on earth?
We should attack the police.
Yes, how on earth? Is he still at post?
Yes.
Given the level of destruction by the highway under his watch and the ridiculous explanations that he came up with. Now I understand they are doing some reclamation exercise. I mean, how does he even have
reclamation exercise?
That's what I hear. I heard it yesterday in the news. You may have to go and check and see. They have succeeded in now driving the people out, and they are now trying to do a reclamation exercise. We need to check that, and I'm sure that very soon we'll be going there as a committee.
It's not true.
So I'm saying that, look, honey.
Eric, is it true?
That they have done a reclamation exercise.
That you are doing?
Who is doing?
I don't know.
In the Konongo area. But Annie, I'm saying that it is even ridiculous. Okay, it's even ridiculous. No, I mean, I'm talking specifically to the one that came.
I mean, we spoke with the Rastas.
I know that the whole of Konongo, most parts of Konongo already, the impunity is going on.
He is in the ground almost all the time. That's his work.
Yeah.
And the Today reports, there's nothing like reclamation.
Well.
No.
So what you see, that adds to the problem, and that's why I'm saying that I cannot understand why heads are not rolling. It's as if, yes, like I said, the president has checked out.
Okay.
Otherwise, how is it possible that an MCE like that is still at post? How is it possible that the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, who clearly, from the things that we uncovered and shared during our press conference, seemed to be more interested in private interest promotion than protecting the public interest, especially in our state lands and forest reserves. So I cannot repeat it enough that the president must speak to the nation. We need to, for example, understand why we still have LI 2462, passed by the environment minister to allow for mining in our forest reserves, when only a couple of years ago the president was promising us that he was banning mining in forest reserves and even putting his presidency on the line. We need to understand and reconcile those two positions.
I remember Mr. Simin Kombos has said on this platform that there is nothing wrong with mining in forest reserves as long as you put in the right procedures after mining.
I've had this conversation with him repeatedly, and I have said on many occasions that at our level of development, we now even call it development, at our level of destruction, you cannot guarantee sustainable mining in our forest reserves.
Okay.
So it is better that we restrict it generally and protect the forest reserves from mining. At our level of destruction, we cannot guarantee and supervise sustainable mining in our forest reserves.
All right,
I disagree with him on that.
Eric, let me have you come in. I mean, has the president checked out? Is it possible we call a state of emergency now?
What does that mean? I mean, I think that we have to be careful.
We have to be careful with what?
I mean, because these things are quite interesting when it's coming from Suhini. We also have to be very clear in our minds that the president is still working. In the last few days, you've seen him all over the place, still prosecuting his mandate. Now, I come from a place called Abompe, near Osino, which is in the Pantiaka South District. Now, we have a river called Brim. So when I was a child, you have this conversation where, I'll say it in Tree, Achemkwa, Onum Brim. I think you understand. And so, any conversation surrounding Galamsey, and illegal mining are things that I have a certain appreciation of and I'm passionate about. And so every time I get an opportunity to speak about these things, I say it in a very dispassionate, apolitical way. So it's very clear that illegal mining is a challenge. It has been a challenge, not in the last few years. It's been a challenge in times past. And there are several attempts that have been made to try and forestall the issues. Some policy propositions have been made in regard to having even community mining schemes and even having alternative livelihood schemes to support these young people who indulge in this illegal mining. It's very clear that some gains have been made. It's also clear that we're still having challenges with these things. From my own perspective, it's always important to look at it from how do we find a lasting solution to this challenge? Because it looks like it's not going away anytime soon. And anytime we talk about consensus and making sure that you have collaboration from various stakeholders, people balk at the idea. But it's very important to also look at it from that perspective as well. For example, you know an excavator, and see how big an excavator is. There's absolutely no way that an excavator will enter. I'll use my village as an example. Abompe, go through the town and enter the forest without the people within that particular community being aware of that. You understand? So you find out that there are collaborators with people who are chiefs, opinion leaders, people who own the land. I mean, we've spoken about land tenure issues here and all sorts of other things where people even sell their farmlands to some of these people to engage in these illegal activities. And so for me, whilst it's important that because we have issues with how the degradation of the environment is happening and how it's affecting our water bodies, it was also important that we look at it from a very, if like, big picture perspective to say that, yes, government has a responsibility. Government has tried all manner of ways to try and forestall this challenge. Some cases, some has been successful, in other cases it hasn't been. But I believe strongly that as a collective, we are dropping the ball. And why do I say that? Because, I mean, you can have all the muscle or all the security apparatus and all the state apparatus that you want to be able to stem this tide. And yet, if you don't have the support of the people themselves, you do not have an ironclad alternative livelihood system in place. And even the regulators themselves making sure that the various, there is Minerals Commission, the what's it called? The guys at the Environmental Protection, all of these entities, Forestry Commission, all have the resources and the manpower, in place to solve these challenges. You'll be backing up the wrong tree. So for me, in as much as I'm very particularly worried about this, I think that we probably have to go back to the drawing board in terms of how we deal with this challenge. And several propositions have been made. You mean we have to reset? Yeah. What does reset mean? We have to go back to the drawing board in terms of how we do this. For example, Dr. Bawumia, who is a flag bearer, is proposing having something akin to minerals or like a mining bank. And then also having conversation around creating avenues for the local people to own these concessions and give them the support to be able to mine so that it's regulated properly. The issues to do with reclamation of the land and areas where you can mine and areas where you cannot mine becomes a thing of the past. And so for me, I think that this is the right direction. And then at a local level, making sure that young people who are minded by even going into that particular space are regulated properly. So that, because you cannot stop. It's not the case that we want to stop people from mining. It is the issue of how it affects our forest reserves and how it affects our water bodies. But if you're able to find a way where we can avoid these two major areas, and we have a proper regulation in place to support people to go into artisanal mining or small-scale mining, that's not a problem. Now, you see, the inconsistencies when it comes to the NDC is what also worries me. You have a flag bearer who has been president before, going around the country, going to places where these galamsey, he actually uses the word galamsey, and that in the unlikely event that he becomes president again, he's going to give an amnesty to people who have been prosecuted because of galamsey.
What did he say after that?
Let me finish. And so if somebody of that stature goes about. But you can't.
What did he say?
I don't know what he said. I'm telling you what I heard.
This is disinformation.
How is it disinformation?
What did he say after that?
How is that disinformation?
I have that video, but because of time, it's so long,
I think you're being unfair to me. Let me make my point.
What did he say after that?
When I'm done, you can ask me questions. Then you have a former communications officer. Let me make my point.
That's all he's asking for. It's not like he doesn't know the facts.
Let me make my point.
But he's pleading with you to allow him to do his propaganda.
I don't do propaganda. You know me very well.
So respond to the question. What did he say? If you know what he said. Right. If you don't know,
now
then ask her to tell you.
Communication officer
if you are interested in
of the NDC.
Do you know any minister that's involved in galamsey?
How would I know? I don't know.
Do you know any MP?
Can I finish?
I'm asking.
No, but you're asking me. You're now.
I just want to know. Do you?
No,
yes
you're disrupting my train of thought.
Oh,
and that is unfair. I don't like that.
Continue.
Let me make my point. Then you can ask me questions.
Continue.
Right. Then you have a former communications officer of the NDC, plus a few NDC officials actually. In 2020, as part of their campaign activities, going to places that were supposed to be galamsey sites, actually encouraging these people and telling them that they will not actually hound them when they came into power because they were basically looking for their livelihoods. Right. So, as statesmen, as politicians, as a political elite, we have to be very careful with the kind of messaging that we send around. So you realize that our friends have thrown principles.
So they have to be
I'm just saying that. So when I have this, when you ask me questions and you express disquiet and you're disgruntled about what is happening, I will not have any qualms with you. What is coming from Suhuyini? I don't trust it.
So I'm asking questions.
You understand what I'm saying? I will not trust it because it is very clear that they don't even have a position on that.
That's fine.
Right? And so all I'm saying is that, like I said, I come from a place. I'm an Achim. I come from Abompe. We drink the brim. When we were kids, you'd see things. So I am directly affected by activities of galamsey. And I cannot sit on politics or not. I cannot sit on a national platform like this and countenance any activity.
So let me ask you,
any activity
have you tried? So you've tried all means.
No, but that's what I'm saying. That I have my.
It didn't work.
I have my views. I have my views, right?
And your views are
very, very clear. You see, what are they using to do the destruction of the thing? Majority of these people are using excavators and all of those things, right? And my view is that it's very easy to actually adopt technology to be able to deal with these things. Where are the excavators coming from? The excavators are coming through our ports. The excavators are coming through our ports. And you need to be able to have a system. This is 2024, right? And so you need to be able to have a system that would be able to track every single excavator and any earth-moving machinery that comes into this country. That's what I will do. Right, give it an opportunity so that if it's supposed to, let's say for example, you have commercial mining entities that are legally operating, you have other construction companies and all that using all this machinery for specific purposes, right, and legal purposes. And so you need to have an indication of where this is going, who is using what, and all of those things. If it happens that this is supposed to, it's operating in an environment that is not designated, it's not pre-designated, you shut it down.
But you have a minister.
But that is.
And I always make reference to this. The Western Regional Minister, when he made the point that the task forces have been withdrawn from the galamsey sites, he also added that if you identify a place you want to mine, all you need to do is to send your information to the MCE and they will allocate the place for you. You start mining. Is that what is that?
I didn't hear that. I don't
have
know
the
what
video.
he
I
said.
can't play. I don't have time.
That's what I'm saying. But all I'm saying is that we have to look at it from a perspective where certain things have been put in place to forestall the challenge. It hasn't worked. In some places, it has. I mean, there are people. So, for example, I'll give you an example. There's a town next to my town, very close. It's called Achim Hemain, where the chief there has vowed that under his watch, there is not going to be galamsey in that place. And guess what? There's nothing like that happening there. However, there are adjoining and nearby towns that this thing happens. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm saying that you can use so many ways of actually dealing with this. For example, I think that the Otumfuo himself has to be commended for being able.
He's not done with his work.
Let me finish.
He should hand over the chiefs to the police.
That is your view.
It's not my view. Yeah. It's not my view. What the chiefs were engaged in was an illegality. Yeah. And that is why the Otumfuo realized that I need to remove you from your position first. How you conclude with this work before I applaud is you hand them over to the police.
But it is not, we are living in a constitutional environment. This is not in his remit to hand over people to the police. Now that he has made that, you see, we have to be very consistent with our approach here. Now that he has made that determination, which is under his remit, it is basically his responsibility to which he has done.
If you recognize that someone is engaged in an illegality, what do you do?
But that is what I'm saying, that it is not in his place to hand over people to the police. Now that the police have knowledge of these things, they can go ahead. Nothing stops the police from doing the investigation.
The police won't just get up. The police doesn't just get up to go and arrest people.
Oh no, but it doesn't have to necessarily start with an arrest.
The chief has realized that my sub chiefs are offending the law. They're breaking the rules. So I'm removing them as chiefs.
And they have been removed.
Hand over them to the police.
But how do you do that? You can't
constitutionally. Report them to the police.
Maybe that's your view. But I'm saying that, as far as I'm concerned, unless I can be educated on that, as far as I'm concerned, nothing stops whoever is responsible, the authorities who are have the mandate, right, to go ahead and do their investigations and bring those people to book.
I want to raise this before we quickly, just 2 minutes, I beg you. I just want to raise an issue that's on my heart.
Yes, you know, I don't know when Eric was talking about the Birim River. I don't know when last he.
I go there all the time. That's where I come from.
Have you seen it?
But that's what I'm saying, that I'm.
No, you know, in his submission, he sought to see. He didn't say, but he sought to see that the chief within the Brim River area is not working. Because the town closed. The town closed.
He's giving an example of a town where a chief is working.
The town is called what? Achim Hemain. They are not involved in galamsey.
No, but that's
because
the chiefs around the Birim area.
No, I didn't say that.
Because the water of the Birim, the color of the Birim River.
I said that you need a certain consensus and collaboration to be able to fight.
But it starts with leadership.
So you see, Annie, I can understand why he appreciates the intervention of the Asante here. And yes, I also agree with him that it is commendable. What he has done is commendable. But I equally agree with you that, you know, the icing on the cake would have been to submit them to the police for investigation. But if he hasn't done that, nothing actually stops the police from also taking it up to do an investigation, a follow-up investigation, and to get the chiefs to answer for their, you know, alleged crimes. But it is quite disheartening that we cannot say same for other chiefs, especially when we discuss the Birim River and those who are in that area. And I recall how some of them in the past were, you know, if you like, hyped as environmentalists and all of that. But it's quite disheartening that we cannot say same for many of our other big chiefs when it comes to the fight against galamsey. But Annie, Eric was talking about what the, you know, failed vice president is hoping to do when he comes into power with galamsey, and he said that they will make it available to the local people, and then
they will set up a gold bank.
Goodness and mercy. Maybe it is it is a symptom of how clueless that office has been. Otherwise, any attention to what is going on, you cannot miss the fact that one of the biggest challenges we have had recently is this community mining and how it is done. One of the biggest challenges, even local people. How different is that going to be from the community mining that we currently have, where even the regional minister himself understands it to me. Understands it to me. If you just want a place to mine, come and get a piece of land and go and mine.
I spoke about EPA. I spoke about forestry.
It is not an idea at all. In fact, we are already living the effects of a similar intervention,
but you see,
and it should not be considered at all.
When you don't have drinking water in your fridge, either you're drinking sachet water or you're drinking bottled water, and they get finished in your fridge, you know how you even feel like in your home. There's no water in the fridge. You almost feel like you're dead.
Yeah. So Annie, you see, and then he does the politics of what JM said with mining, and that is what they always do. In fact, yesterday I was scandalized. I was very calm during the sittings yesterday. I don't know how I sprung to my feet when I heard the chief whip of the majority make that very ridiculous statement that UNDC, you polluted more than
is that the water bodies were
why do we ridicule ourselves as politicians like this all the time? That's all I was thinking when I sprang to my feet.
What did you say?
Is that I didn't get the speakers? I didn't catch the speakers.
You didn't catch his eye.
I mean, is that a response? Is that how low we have gotten to? A race to the bottom. That's what this is about. Oh, you polluted. I mean, I was just scandalized. I just thought of myself as a young man out there not involved in politics and hearing a supposed leader speak this way and the disgust that I was going to feel. And that's what they do. Trying to equalize it as if that justifies it. Trying to create that, twin brothers when there's none. I mean, the Minister for Local Governments, the former Minister for Local Government, what's her name? Alima Mahama, in 2018, addressed the press together with MCs and told us, the whole country, that they had a report that shows that MCs and DCs were engaged in illegal mining. Were they NDC appointees? Up till today, not a single one of them have been arrested and prosecuted. But at least the minister told us that they have a report that they are engaged, appointees of the government. When did you ever have that under the previous NDC government? How many of those MCs and DCs are in jail and in prison? Don't we know that Akonta Mining belongs to the chairman of the New Patriotic Party in Ashanti region? Don't we know that? But the president
said Akonta Mining is not involved in Ghana.
Don't we know that the minister of Lands and Natural Resources admitted with and agreed with civil society organizations that Akonta Mining was engaged in illegal mining in a forest reserve? Didn't the president clear Akonta Mining even before an investigation started? Why is the owner of Akonta Mining not in jail? And so when President Mahama tells you that those, hungry young people who do not have the opportunity to get jobs because of your mismanagement of the economy and have fallen prey to your destruction of the environment are not those who should be in jail. What has he said wrong? When your MCs and DCs that you told us were engaged in it are not in jail, when your original chairman is not in jail, and the young men and women who, because of your reckless management of the economy, cannot find other means of survival, are arrested in the pits and put in jail, is that a solution to the problem? And so when President Mahama says that they are not the people to target to resolve the problem. It is a logical and commonsensical position. If anybody should be in jail, it should be the MCs that the minister at the time said were engaging in it. It should be the people who were caught on camera during the Anas investigation, who were in plush offices at the presidency. They should be in jail. And they are the people that His Excellency President Mahama is assuring that when he becomes president again, they will be in jail. Maybe you can call it a prisoner swap.
Okay.
We will grant the amnesty as he is promising to those who shouldn't be even in the business that they are in, if they are properly catered for and given the necessary tools to operate. And then the kingpins.
Honorable Member of Parliament say.
And the kingpins. The kingpins are those who should be in jail. And so you see, Annie,
yes,
we are saying that we will, recategorize the mining sector into large scale, small scale, and medium scale. We'll decentralize the supervision and licensing regimes to make supervision, more tenuous and the licensing less cumbersome.
Okay, we will get more into Galamsey this week definitely. But what came up yesterday that disturbed the whole country was what's happening to our children in the schools as well. So apart from worrying about Galamsey, we now have our children stabbing themselves in school. The very disturbing video. My social media team posted a video yesterday and they brought it down again because they thought that it's even still disturbing. If their family is watching, I don't know how they will feel, so they brought the video down from the page. So those of you who shared, if you're looking for it, we've brought it down. We've brought it down. But
I saw, I couldn't watch it. I mean, basically, immediately I realized what it was. I couldn't watch it. And for me, I think that it's in order to extend our condolences to the bereaved family. It's extremely unfortunate. It's something that should never happen. I also believe that some level of investigation should go into the matter and probably also put together some systems that would forestall this happening in the future. And any family that loses a bright young boy like that would feel extremely devastated. I mean, it's one of those things that you wouldn't wish for any family at all. And our condolences are with the family. It also points to some kind of level of, if you like, supervision that I think that the various authorities in our schools should look at. I mean, some of us have been to boys' schools, and some boys can be very boisterous and get into all sorts of fisticuffs, but never saw anything of that sort where people are being stabbed and all of that, and it's really unfortunate. I think that it's a very sad
I mean, we fight and we use objects in dormitories and to hurt ourselves, but to just bring up a knife.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That it's crazy. It is not something that it's not normal with our young people.
Randy would say that when he was in school, secondary school, those things they used to do, if there was social media, we probably couldn't have contained it.
No, but you see,
but I think it wasn't this bad.
But to be honest with you, I think
that
the advent of social media and everything makes some of these things quite pronounced.
Yeah.
But the reality is that, I mean, these things would happen, but I never experienced a situation where someone was stabbed. I mean, young boys especially would fight, would get into arguments and be debating about the most ridiculous things. I mean, and when you hear what they were even debating and arguing about, it's the most ridiculous thing about whose dad is more richer and all of that, right? And it's really sad, but I mean, I think that we also have to caution our young people, our teenagers especially, to be mindful of that, because I mean, we are very fragile as human beings.
Have we failed them? Have we failed the generation?
I don't. I think this is it's an isolated incident. It's an aberration. So it's very. I mean, it'd be too generalized to actually say we have. but some level of care should be taken. And I also think that it's imperative that the students who witness this should be given some kind of counseling as well, because it's quite traumatic, so that they'll be able to probably deal with it in a way. The family as well would need counseling and maybe some support from the state will be in order.
Eric, Moses can do research to tell you, come
he hasn't seen me for a
join him so you go and play golf. Sweeney.
And like many, I could not also watch the video beyond 30 seconds. I couldn't. I just kept thinking, even after that short view, about the adults that even those who were carrying that child will grow into, and the impact it can have on their character. Because at that age, to carry a friend or a colleague to die in your hands out of such brute force used against a fellow, it can have some damaging impact on their character that they develop. And you see, these children are in their formative ages. I mean, that's the period that, if we all look back critically, we can pinpoint how our lives, turn out to be what it is today. Certain habits that you cultivate at that time determine where and how you go. And so, even after watching the video for less than 30 seconds, I mean, I was like, okay, so this guy is gone. The one who has stabbed, who has done the stabbing, will need psychological, rehabilitation and all of that. But it's going to be very dangerous. I mean, difficult to recover. Now, what about these children who were holding the boy, watching him die in their hands? I mean, since last night, I just kept thinking about the kind of society that we are building. I mean, it's sad. I couldn't stop thinking about the parents and just wondering how they are going to receive the news.
Yeah.
After preparing your child to go to school and, hoping for the best for them, to receive such news, I wonder how the parents will, live by it and with it. And so I pray for God's grace for the families to accept the loss. And I just hope that, as a people, we will pay more attention to our institutions of learning. It is not all about how many people get enrolled in school and how much access that we create, even though that is what is dominating our politics and our discussion. It is about what they come out to be. That should be more important to us. The level of care, the level of mentoring, and role modeling that they get, the supervision that they get in the schools, that will give them a better preparation for the life ahead.
Right.
Should be more important and should be more prominent in our conversations than how much access is created and how many are enrolled. We are not producing, shirts for the shops or shoes.
Human beings for the country.
We are talking about producing the next generation that will keep, the life going. And so it should not be about
How many shoes were produced annually to fill the shop?
All right.
Or the shirts?
So I'm pressed with time. So maybe on this sad note, we'll just draw the curtain on that. And you want to pay attention to your children in school, apart from the teachers who have a responsibility. You also, as a mother, a father, a parent or a guardian, you have a responsibility of making sure that your children are engaged in the most responsible activities in school, not necessarily arguing about whose father is rich, really. I mean, we definitely have gone backwards. So, I mean, when did we get to this argument of who's richer and who's poorer? And let's do that.
A former American president once said that I do not care about who my grandfather was.
Yes.
All I care about is who his grandson will become. And as a young man growing up, that always used to be my favorite quote.
And on that note, let's take a breath. I'll be back shortly.
Pascal is showing his boss the efficient new technology they've installed. She's pleased. But now she's asking, why is that still there? Pascal explains the new fleet-finding darts are more accurate than the old ones. The boss is not so pleased anymore. If you haven't automated your fleet management yet, it's time to get business done better with MTN Business.
Choose the perfect prize every week and stand to win your choice of exciting prizes. All to get more of what matters to you. Exclusive to Betway. Betway, get way more. Terms and conditions apply. Regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. No under 18.
Ama. Nasemi jeno wo bin enkoye kwao amama ye bohu se kontomra akija nasemi ho se menyo basima kora amama kunni me entukwankwa oyiwa enye mo give us GC mixture and the capsules aye numbom enho asem na mo kana ebua emma ene meme nyina na ma wo ba ye obesima na be ma so aye bemasima ya we be bua wuku ama ne giant sa wo de hye ne botum na wanyinya ne nti sese ne oyi chokmo GC mixture and capsule.
A painful about time one more menu for one kwada when you feel do me can be
the luckiest
star 712 hash.
Luckiest everywhere. 8K. Hey, you get an 8K. Get a package on your book, man. Wallah. Hey, wait.
You go put it on his tab. This is my man. Good luck.
Hey, yo, bill ready. We are star 712. It's much more phone. I'm on dialing the magic numbers. Star 712. Now welcome to the luckiest. And now with me at home ticket. You can buy for yourself or your loved one.
Mommy, tell mommy who's here.
You're buying for me, right?
Or who else?
Let's
choose buy tickets for others.
Love you, boo boo.
Maybe straight to option 4. Now we try. You need to buy tickets worth 50 Ghana to qualify. Yes, you can buy random or preferred tickets. I'm choosing random tickets. Listen, if you buy the random ticket, the system chooses a random number for you. But if you buy the preferred, you get to input your own preferred 5 digits. 5.
Baby, give me your 5 numbers.
And how much are we buying?
Babe, look at the body and buy you.
With your body,
Hey,
there, tread cautiously. Now follow the prompts. Now the luckiest.
The luckiest is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform, not for persons below 18 years. TNCs apply.
Welcome back. Desi, the star boy, is here for Trent. You're welcome. Good morning.
Thank you very much.
You know what I just saw?
What did you see?
A little young man riding in he's actually moving the earth machine. He's collecting sand into a truck. I actually earlier on thought it was a Galamsey site.
So it's not a Galamsey site?
I don't know.
For a moment I thought...
I don't know. I mean, it's just a little boy, like a 10-year-old boy driving the truck.
If it's for other means, yeah.
I hope.
It will swing for skills. But if it's for Galamsey, there's a Japan, and Papa for the future. Yeah, and I mean, there's a video that surfaced online. Shama, Epona, I was Shama, no. Epona, the sea, not the river. The sea has become brown. You'd see
the sea.
The sea.
Ebusia for mo when Epona kala na ye na. Epupa mo na ne kala ye. Galamsey na mo ye ne e kan wasem na mo ntie no. Mo he Epona kala. Epuna ye brown no. Sumo Apple and I am brown. No. Galamsey na mo ye ne e kan na mo ntie no. Mo he Apple no and I am brown no. Mo he Apple no. Apple pa ni. Apple na ye brown no. Apple na ye brown no. Sumo e kan na mo ntie no. Galamsey na mo ye ne e kan na mo ntie no. Apple na ye brown no.
Nti Epona na kane amanfo tumi ko dware mu no ekotena no na adane.
This is Shama Beach.
Yeah, this is just around Shama area. So you could imagine that whole enclave, you know, from Shama going towards Sekondia, very soon.
So is it taking any tributary from any of the rivers?
Yeah, I was reading about it that the Pra actually
joins into the sea.
Yeah, so
this is coming from the Pra River.
Yeah, into Kakaka.
So we are introducing the heavy metals into the sea.
The
now.
Chemicals, everything is getting into the sea now.
Okay.
Into Apofono, very soon they wouldn't get anything because these chemicals are not good.
This is I don't know.
This is a national.
Yes.
Yeah.
I really don't know how to describe this.
You know, and it got lots of people.
Normally would say this is a time bomb,
yeah.
But I think we've even gone past the time bomb.
So the bomb is there, but now it's sticking.
Yeah, I think it's blasted. Except that you are not there, so you think you're fine.
So this has also got lots of people talking, and I mean I saw Honorable Dombre trending also.
Yes.
Due to that statement
he made on the floor.
I mean he's trying to clarify that. Yes, I know part. Oh, he spoke to our correspondent. I mean, on the bulletin this afternoon, you see that he said he just wanted to say that we shouldn't blame one side. It's both sides that have, contributed to the situation we find ourselves in. So you polluted the water more than us. I'm just saying what he said. You polluted the water more than us.
Yeah. Do you have a video to that?
Oh no, I didn't get that, but that's exactly what I was in there. On the other side, that is the NDC polluted the water more than them.
Does the leadership of this country appreciate what we're in?
That is where you think that in times like this, the statements that will come out from people we see as leaders.
I don't even know why I'm asking you.
Anyway, so from another side one to another side one, O'Reilly SHS still in the news after what happened yesterday, and a lot of people have had their takes on it, talking about indiscipline in our high schools. Like as Honorable was saying, the effect this would have on the students who carried their colleague all the way outside of they said train car to take their colleague to the hospital. You must have seen the video. If not, you see it on the screen in a bit. But how does this happen? I know we've been saying always that a lot of these things have been high school and normal. It's been happening in our schools in terms of what's the word? These banters.
Yeah.
those times when they do
agreements, arguments, misunderstanding.
But to the extent
sometimes we even do it in a very frenzied environment.
But to the extent that you are able to think of taking this to do this, Charlie, it's a really sad thing. And the father and some members of the family went there and they were asking, they're demanding justice for their son Edward. There, it's a very disheartening thing, and the question again is about what indiscipline is doing to our schools now. The teachers are saying it is not there. So you see them on the screen. So this says teachers have been rendered powerless and useless, giving these kids the audacity to behave any way they can. I mean, what's the country turning into? Okay, and moving on to the next one. This one says GS has taken all disciplinary powers from the teachers based on what will they intervene, only to be punished by GS after a useful lesson. And this guy says that they should stop blaming the teachers. Very unfortunate incident at O'Reilly SHS, but there was nothing the teachers could have done. As a teacher, go to school, teach during your periods, and go home to enjoy your life with your family. So it says no one should blame the school staff, and it continues like that. Now the teachers will say, hey, we won't do anything, no, they just want to come and teach and go home, because now if anything happens, there's going to be a statement, and they're going to choke you so small. So the teachers are all free. So that's the situation with O'Reilly. Very, very sad situation. We saw the father there. Lots of people say the father had really kept his composure.
He has. He has. If you've seen the video, he has.
Yeah, he's been really calm about it.
He has.
Really sad thing.
Right.
Anyway.
So let's use this opportunity to wish CEO of Business and Financial Times Group, Dr. Godwin Akwe. You're turning 50 today. This is coming from Nathaniel here, Programs Manager. 50. Yes, Natlai says happy birthday to you, Dr. Godwin Akwe. Enjoy the day.
And also to the CEO of Hofsman Shoes, Mr. Tom Senaya. Today is his birthday. Also, Kiki also says happy birthday to Faith Andofo. We love and cherish you from your sisters. Yeah, and I mean, big shouts to all the people who meet me around and say hi to Doc and to the team. So hi to the team.
You're feeling like a star boy.
Yeah, shouts to Mr. Noah Apedo inside Tama. There's a woman called me Mr. Danso, then I thought she knew me. Like she knew me because Mr. Danso,
there's only one person.
I've been watching the show since, for 20 years now. Like, that's what we've been talking about. So keep tuning here on Good Morning Ghana and enjoy beautiful stuff. My name is Destiny Starboy. It's one of the Black Stars of Ghana. We'll be playing at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium.
Well, that's why you're not seeing Dr. Randy Abbott here.
Right? Yeah.
So let's give them the support that we can.
Oh, but we'll score them.
We'll score them, eh?
3-0. Oh, you better go say.
Give me 500. For me, the Black Stars, I never give up on them. No matter what, I never give up on them. Anyway, so all the best to the Black Stars. Desi, thank you for coming through.
As always.
We're back tomorrow with Good Morning Ghana. Thanks for watching.